Good morning, everyone. Welcome to your, it's afternoon now, you're right. I need to start changing that. Welcome to your August 18th Rotary Club of Ames luncheon here. Let's begin with Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Let's take a moment here to recognize anyone that could use our thoughts and prayers. I haven't had anyone bring anyone new today, so if anyone has one, raise a hand. Otherwise, Park. Dick Ross's wife, Karen, passed away. So definitely keep that in mind. Is that what you were going to say? Okay. Well, let's keep their family in our thoughts and prayers, and anyone else you can think of for a moment. Okay, thank you, everyone. And we've got, we can go ahead and be seated, and we've got a few guests to welcome here today. I'm going to start with Katie, if you want to start with your family. And
sure. Today I brought my family because Evie, my oldest daughter, will be speaking about RYLA for a minute. So this is Evelyn, and then our middle son, Gus, and my husband, Pete McMahon.
Welcome, welcome. I'll turn over to Glenn.
Good afternoon, everybody. I want to introduce my daughter, Allison. She works at the DOT, and she's been here several times, so keep talking to her. Maybe we'll get more involved. And my grandson, Evan, and he's going to be talking a little bit, too, because he went to RYLA. So.
And George, you have some guests?
I have two guests who traveled all the way from Baltimore, Maryland, to be with us today, but the real reason they came was on Friday. They honored me with their presence at the event that was held where I received the award called Ames History Maker, and very honored to receive that award. My brother Nick Belitzos, Dr. Nick Belitzos, he's a physician. He worked for many years in a private practice as a gastroenterologist. And my other brother, who's also a gastroenterologist, joined him in that practice. They practiced together, and they were very famous. They did great work. And so Nick has recently retired. His partner, Nancy Wheeler, is joined us, and thank you, Nancy. I love you as much as Nick does. All right, you guys. So welcome, Nick and Nancy.
I've got my nephew here, Alex Jackson, was also part of RYLA, and he'll be talking in here in a little bit. So welcome, Alex. And then other esteemed guests here today. I'd like to welcome Steve Dakin is here joining us. Steve, thank you for joining us. He'll be talking a little bit later. Steve Schroederbacher's here as well. He'll be talking in a little bit as well. And then Norlan and Cindy Hinke from the district governor, going to have our guest speaker today, District 6000 Governor. Thank you very much for being here, both of you. Let's go ahead and sing them a song. Thank you, sir. Next week we'll be online. We've got Shannon with the Ames Regional Alliance going to be joining us as our guest speaker. The topic will be Live, Work, Play in Ames. And I don't know if any of you have seen that or not, but they do have a new website. They rolled that out here, a few months ago, I believe. So that'll be next week's online meeting. Please join us there. Then, are we to September 1st already after that? Wow. So Labor Day is September 1st, so please enjoy that weekend. And then we'll have club luncheon back here at the Plex on the 8th of September with Andrew from Ryman Gardens. And then we're online on the 15th and back-to-back on the 22nd because the Plex has something going on. And then at the end of the month on the 29th back here at the Plex. So that's what's coming up. Looking forward to that. Again, volunteers for Miracle League baseball this fall. If you have times on Saturdays, we've got 2 different times. We have the 9 and 10 o'clock through September 27th. So we could definitely use some volunteers there. Please let us know. And Octagon Arts Festival, we have to start talking about that at the end of September, the 28th. Great event. Been there every year for the last few years as well. With the booth, come by and see us. We set up around the musical stage. But yeah, we're looking for sign up for shifts. So we can sign up for a 10 to 4 shift to help volunteer with that event. So great event for Ames, for downtown, and the Octagon Arts Center. Then we have, I can't see that. That doesn't help. University Museum celebrating 50 years. Looks like we have a celebration coming up. That is so tiny. Can anybody read that? September 19th, and more information will be emailed out from 7 to 9 on September 19th. After what?
At Brunier Museum.
Oh, Brunier Museum. Fantastic. And more information will be emailed out.
And we have a speaker from them.
Fantastic. On September 15th, we'll find out all kinds of information for that. So put it on your calendar so you can make sure to attend that. We are still looking for public image chair and committee members. So please think about that. You can help with that post. It would go out. You could actually do that post. Celebrating the community. So we've been asked to partner with 4 other, or for the 4th year of the national collaboration among Kiwanis, Lions, Optimist, Altrusa, and then Rotary. So we're being asked to help with a community collaborative effort. This is something we're going to talk about in our board meeting, but wanted to bring to everyone's attention that this could be the first time all clubs in Ames would come together, and what they're really looking for is to collect items for food items for local pantries and clothing drive for school kids. So that's kind of the main focus. I think that aligns a lot with what us as Rotarians would also like to see. If we have the ability to help out collectively with this group, I think it would be pretty good, and that is September 14th through the 20th. So any questions, concerns, certainly let us know. As a board, we're going to talk about it some more and can report back to you what those details look like. Club service project ideas, again, still looking for any ideas that anyone might have. If you've got one, please let us know. You can email that to rotaryclubofames@gmail.com. And the brag bucket. We're going to put a pin in the brag bucket until after we have some of our other speakers, so we can see how much time we have at the end. So we're going to move on to the next slide, which should be having some of our RYLA group come up here first. So I'm going to skip to, we're going to have RYLA start. So if the 3 students that were able to attend, Evie, Evan, and Alex, if you want to come up, really just looking to see how your event was, how much fun you had, and things like that. So I'll give you the podium.
Hi everyone, my name's Evie McMahon. I'm gonna be a sophomore this upcoming school year, and I loved RYLA. I loved going. It was the best. I had a really fun time. I really didn't want to go at the start, but my mom talked me into it. But yeah, it was life-changing. I left with lifelong friends. So yeah, it was the best. Thank you so much for sending me. Also, thank you so much.
Hi, as you know, I'm Alexander Jackson, his nephew. Going into Rotary, most people say it, I'm sure, but I was nervous. I'll be real. I didn't know what I had agreed to go and do. He's like, "You'd enjoy this," and I was like, "Okay," and I agreed to it. So of course, going in Sunday, I was timid, a little quieter than maybe I normally would be, but ending off that night on Thursday, I was like realizing that I wouldn't have rather done anything else with that week, and I was very glad to have gotten the opportunity, and I want to thank you all for that chance. So thank you.
Thank you, everybody, for sending me to RYLA camp and sponsoring me. I had an absolutely wonderful week. For those of you who don't know, RYLA camp was the last week of July and held at Grinnell College in Grinnell. My favorite activity has got to be the TTAs or the team time activities. Here's one of them. So you have a long string with the ends tied together. The rules are you are blindfolded and you had to make shapes by feel. And the only way you can communicate is by talking to each other. If you were an obvious leader or you talk too much, you'd be told to be quiet and follow the instructions of others. We built things from a circle, which was surprisingly difficult, to a star with only one person, the person who was talking the least before, not talking. Those TTAs taught me valuable teamwork and team building skills. A few other highlights got to be my grandpa showing up on Tuesday, and if you ask for the time, all the staff gives you talking in fruits. So they would say 3 fruits to the end of the activity. It had no actual time. Here's a story of an epic fail I had at camp. We were told to chill in a room for 5 minutes to get the layout. Then we were taken out of the room and explained the rules. The rules are you were blindfolded in the room, no talking, and you had to raise your hand if you needed help. The objective was to find a box, but I was spacing off. So the only thing I heard was raise your hand if you need help. I was put into the room, blindfolded, had no clue what we were supposed to be doing, and I was just wandering around the room aimlessly. I had noticed that I was bumping into fewer and fewer people as time went on, and I said, "Hey, I'll figure it out eventually, right?" So I was just wandering around, had no idea what to do, until I swallowed my pride, raised my hand, and I realized that I was the last person out of the room. And I won't forget that one for a long time. Anyway, thank you so much for the wonderful week. It was one of the most fun and valuable weeks I've ever had. I made a lot of new friends and plan to keep in touch with them going forward. Thank you.
Thanks for sharing. You bet. Yeah, how about that? I personally know that Alexander did not really have a good first day there, or was very nervous, but he did warm up, and I appreciate you just sticking it out. And see, I told you were going to have fun there, and I'm so glad to hear from the other two that you had a good time, and that's such a special thing that we can do for the youth. I remember myself as going into my senior year, I had the opportunity to do something very similar, and it was a big thing. So appreciate that again. Okay. I've got the privilege to introduce Norlan. Norlan is a member of the Rotary Club of Clinton. He has served as a board member, chaired the fundraising committee for the club's 100th anniversary, club foundation chair, club president, and general club activities. He served as a chairperson for the community service grants team at the district level, served as the 2022-2023 District 6000 Foundation Chair, and as Assistant Governor during 23-24 and 24 and 25. He also serves as a treasurer for District 6000 Rotary Action Group Mental Health Initiative. Norlan, much like myself, grew up on a farm in eastern Iowa and has a Bachelor of Science and an MBA degrees in Business Management and also is a graduate of the American Bankers Association Graduate School of Banking. Norlan worked in the financial industry from '72 until 2018. After retiring from a financial career, he is employed by Iowa State University Extension Services as a financial specialist. We could all use that, couldn't we? He also serves on the Project Recovery Iowa team and USDA Mental Health statewide grant program for ISU Extension Services. Norlan is a certified mediator and has served on numerous boards of directors and trustees at the local, regional, and national level. His lovely wife, Cindy, who probably keeps him more in line like the rest of us, has a BS degree in business management and is currently retired. She previously worked for her parents' business, owned a business with her daughter, Molly, and until retirement, worked as student advisor for a college. They live in DeWitt, Iowa, and enjoy that other college athletics, nature, dining out, reading, and particularly spending time with family. Norlan and Cindy have been married for 53 years. Let's applaud that. They have 2 grown children, Molly and Troy. Molly has a son, Lex, who's in college pursuing joint degrees in aviation management and communications and will be attending law school after graduation. Troy has 2 daughters, Rosalie, who is in college with a journalism major, and Isaiah, who is in elementary school. So please give a warm welcome to Norlan Hinke. Thank you. Thank you. Give you the podium.
Okay, guys, sit down. You just broke my first rule, and that is don't stand for me because I'm a Rotarian like you. I'm no different, just have a title. And so I appreciate the respect and tradition, but that introduction was way overboard there, Jamie. Oh, and by the way, when you were singing that song, it was beautiful, but I was sitting watching Dakin. He's the only guy I know that can sing a song and never move his lips. And Jamie talked about the other university. I am a financial specialist with Iowa State. If you're connected to Iowa State at all, you know the name Chad Hart. And I told Chad, I'll guarantee you I'm the only employee you got that's got Hawkeye in my password, so. But both schools are good. When does Iowa State play Kansas State? Saturday? That's why I'm surprised so many here. I figured you'd be over in Scotland doing it there. Ireland. Okay. See? Wrong. Close country. They both drink scotch, right? Get this turned on. Where'd it go here? I know, I never use it anyway. Cindy always accuses me of just go here and there. Oh, and by the way, RYLA students, our grandson is 25. He went, so 10 years ago, and actually he's the young guy who spoke to you on Sunday afternoon, and he went through the same thing you guys did, you know. And I think we visited 3 clubs, maybe 4 clubs since RYLA. And those who were adult leaders all said the same thing, and that's you show up on Sunday and there's trepidation and concern, and you're worried about what's going to happen. And by Friday morning, you're all crying because you don't want to go home to mom and dad. So, and our grandson will tell you it was life-changing. So that's great. And Evan, where's Evan? There he is. You know, you were the last one out of the room and you said you didn't know what's going on. Dakin's way older than you and he still doesn't know what the hell's going on. So I want to introduce some people. And I know these are locals, but I just want to recognize them because they're part of our district leadership team. Park Widow is an AG, does a fantastic job. Save your applause. Jim Patton is a past district governor from that conference north of us. He's down here as an AG. He also heads up the scholarship. Jim's tops. And here's Glenn right up front. Glenn's the only guy in the room wearing 2 name tags to show off. But he became our global grant chair. And about the second thing out of the door, he had to correct some problems that he didn't cause. But he is doing a fantastic job. Did you ever get linked up with the guy from Des Moines? This is kind of a neat story. I'm way off base here, but past District Governor Erna Moraine lives in Waukee. And her neighbor just retired as a surgeon. And so 50 years ago, he was in Brazil as an exchange student. So he thought, I'd like to meet up with that family again. So we tracked him down. And he got a hold of me because the gentleman he talked to, what he would call his brother, is a district governor in Brazil. And so he was telling him about what he wants to do down in Brazil, one of which was provide medical supplies to an operating room. Well, that hit home because he's a retired surgeon. Excuse me, sinus apologist. Anyway, he wanted to send some money down, so I got him hooked up with Glenn. But in the conclusion of the conversation, he said, I want to tell you one more thing. He said, my brother and I decided I'm going to Brazil for 2 weeks to see my old family, 50 years later. So that's what Rotary does. That's pretty cool. They do. That's great. Thank you. And we have a past district governor sitting right up here in front. Stand up, Governor. Come on, you deserve it. And everybody knows Don. And where is Mrs. Bloom? She's here somewhere. Here she is. Stand up there, beautiful. She told us she made the tour a few years ago and was kind of living back in history. They bought an RV. They got smart. So anyway, my presentation is 4 segments. The last one's the most important, and that is feedback from you as a group. And we got a young member sitting right there that I told I was going to call on. So the program, first of all, excuse me, it's about Rotary International. Second, it's about district. Third, it's about club. And last, the most important, some feedback from you. That's what I really want to hear. So at the international level, you all got some pins that says Unite for Good. I can't think of a better topic, whether it's Iowa, whether it's international, with all the diversity and all the issues going on, and one can't talk to another because they have different perceptions or beliefs. United for Good is such a fantastic theme, and with Rotary, we can bring that together. Francesco found out about 10 days or 2 weeks before the international. Oh, I want to back up one step. I just looked at this gal here. Jamie said to me, I know you like to have fun. I know you like to BS. And he said, but our club has Allison as the executive secretary, so we know real BS up here, Oh, come on, Allison. I got to give you a hard time up here. I got the mic. She's tops. You guys are very, very fortunate for her. And she presented a program on skiing to our club, which was really, really interesting. And also, I saw the thing on public image. You're going to hear that that's my big deal. And she's on the team for that, so she'll put it together. Anyway, about 10 days before the international convention, Francesco found out he was going to be president. Mario, who was elected, resigned, and the bylaw process is to go back to those that interviewed back in 2022 and select from those the individuals. So Francesco was selected. He's from Italy. And so I've never had an opportunity to meet him because it was 10 days before as I got to meet Mario. But I went to a small group session. Excuse me, I'm sorry. And then President Stephanie Urchik and the Rotary Foundation Chair Holgar Kanak. Cindy, I'm remembering that name. That's amazing, isn't it? That was like a Freudian. All I could think of was Hans from Germany. I finally got through that one. But they were up there with Francesco. And it was Q&A time. And a gentleman out of the crowd asked the question, because Bill Bruce and I have talked. Bill Bruce follows me as governor. He's from Denison. And we've been talking about an elevator speech for Rotary. And right or wrong, we figure if you ask 3,000 Rotarians in the district, you're going to get 2,500 different answers because there's really been nothing standard. But during that conversation, Holgar said 3 words: fellowship with service. And if you think about that, that's the whole background of Rotary, because Rotary was established for networking. And a couple of you asked me when I got involved in Rotary. Well, I took a buyout from the bank I was in, got out for a while, got talked back into banking. And so I was in a different community, and I wanted to network. And so one of the board members asked me to go, and I've been a Rotarian ever since, and it's one of the better decisions I made, other than getting married to Cindy, of course. Sucking up there, guys. But going back to Francesco, each of them talked about Rotary, and what I liked about Francesco, he emphasized the people side. He emphasized the grassroots side, the membership in the clubs, and so he's people-driven. And at the district level, there's 4 areas that we're kind of focusing on. Membership, it has to be, because we've lost 300 and some members. We need to position for 2030-35 with intuitive, innovative district leaders. And I just introduced several of them in this group here, but I look around and just that brief chance to meet several of you, I think you have a lot of potential district leaders in this room, and I would encourage you to do it. And I think Dakin will tell you, and Allison, who's on the board, will tell you. And I didn't introduce you, Schraderbacher. I'm sorry. This is your AG, but he's going to speak later, so I'll catch him later. But I think they'll all tell you that you just meet the best people. And I'm getting off base, but I don't care. The opportunity to be governor and going around to 78 clubs, 66 clubs, 9 extensions, 3 Rotarex, you just meet the greatest people. It's like going to a family reunion every time you go. It's just so fun. And so membership, we really need to grow that. My goal is 1%. There's about 3,000 Rotarians. 1% is 30. Rotary, in a 2-year time period, gained 1.2 million members. Rotary, in that same time period, lost 1.2 million members. So what does that tell you? In the macro scene, in the aggregate scene, it's got to say somebody's not creating value for that membership to renew that membership. And so we really need to focus on retaining. Well, what's the best way of retaining? Engaging and getting the members active in your club. And I look at your club, and usually we get to meet the board ahead of time. Jamie's got to set up afterwards, so I have a little hint, but now I don't have that here. But I just look at what you guys have done, and I mean, you're a solid club. I've got a venture to say when I walk out of that board meeting, you're going to have focus, you're going to have direction, you're going to have purpose. And I know from talking to Jamie a couple times, you got a solid pres right here. If we can retain membership and we can add 30 members in 78 clubs, that ought to be a doable goal. And the other area that I just punched the button is extension clubs. Where the growth is really happening, Rotary has learned that you've got to have flexibility, you've got to have change. I mean, we all know the old acronym in business. If you're doing the same thing a year from now, if you're doing the same thing you were doing a year ago, you're at least 12 months behind what you should be doing. And so Rotary is changing with the times. We're getting away where you could only have one banker, one attorney, one retailer. But the extension clubs are tending to meet like 5, 6 o'clock at night. They're all fellowship-driven and project-driven. Excuse me. And if you analyze 20-year-olds, 30-year-olds, 40-year-olds, I mean, they've got a different lifestyle than I do. As a baby boomer, you did things because it was the right reason. Those generations, Y, X, Z, millennial, whatever, they've got tremendous time demands. They've got tremendous financial needs. They've got 2, 3, 4 kids and got to go in different directions all the time. So they're very focused. They're very selective. They want to network. They want to attain relationship and fellowship. And then they want to get projects done. And so that's what's really happening on the extension side. So I think that's attainable. And foundation, you've got our foundation chair sitting right here. And you maybe noticed since I got the mic, I get to give him a hard time, but I'm going to give him the mic here in a second. Steve has forgot more about foundation than I know, but before I visit a club, I go back on Club Runner and I go back on Club Central and look at where your dynamics were in membership, in giving, to annual fund, to Polio Plus, other activities, RYLA. You guys excel, and you've got a really strong foundation chair, I understand, and I'll hear more about that. But Mr. Dakin, come on up here. You got a couple minutes to say what you choose to say. He's a past district governor, Don, so keep him short, would you?
Well, when our governor came Wednesday to my club, he took up a collection to see who would pay the most to get me to leave the meeting before he talked.
You can't believe how much money we raised.
You know, this is our foundation, as you've heard me say before, but I've been with RYLA since 2017, and you have a perfect example of lives being changed and what happens. We had a student last year from Boone went down and he said, I got to RYLA and I was homesick. I got home and I was RYLA sick. Yeah. Why I want to talk about RYLA, why I have the mic, is we went up almost 60 this year to 200. Right at 200, we had deer at Grinnell. Pre-COVID, we had bound 230. One of the situations, though, that arose, and we had so many new ones, is we had to make the teams of 10 because we did not have enough Rotarians. So I ask you to think about that for next year. We need Rotarians so we can get the teams down to 10. That seems to be our best number history has shown. One of the great things about RYLA, it connects Iowa. And all these conferees can tell you how they've made friends all over the state. Friends for life. Their lives are changed because of those friendships and because of the RYLA experience. And so anyway, so I'll want you to really think about becoming Rotarian. You will get more out of it than you give. I just am always amazed how I get my batteries recharged every year, and you won't regret it. So anyway, I'm going to be short. Back to you, sir.
If I were you guys, I'd take a calendar out because that's historically the shortest speech he's ever given. I want to go back to membership. On the August Rotary magazine, President Francesco said, August is membership, and I'm just kind of synopsing here, putting a synopsis together, but commitment to growth, connection is year-round. It's everybody's responsibility. Focus on growing. The ability to serve, to lead, and bring lasting change. And I think that's a really good comment to look at that. And Allison, the boss, just told me to move it along, so we will do that. Polio Plus. I really want to emphasize Polio Plus. It is just time to make that eradication. I sit on a monthly, I watch, it's nothing other than the governors do, but it's a Polio Plus through Rotary International. And the one a month ago was in Pakistan. So they're on a dirt street. They had 3 Rotarians sharing conversation. Pakistan and Afghanistan are the only 2 countries. If you think about those government types, you know, they're very close. The people are not going to have good communications from the government. And so they don't trust outsiders. Excuse me. So Rotary has learned they need to go in and build a relationship, just kind of like you might want to build a relationship with potential members. And they have shown the mothers that instead of thinking somebody's coming in to hurt or kill their kids, they're coming in to help their kids. But a picture's worth 1,000 words. And in this video, I don't know if it was placed or just happened, but there were 3 or 4 young youth about 10, 15 years old. Now they have polio, so they have no legs. They're sitting on their hind ends, they're sitting on their hands, and they're walking down the street. And I'm thinking to myself, sorry, but wouldn't that be a bitch? I mean, 10 years old, and think about that is where your life and your future is. So we need to put that behind us. 2 years ago, John Ockenfels, Peter Tihan flew the world. The Gates Foundation matched 2 to 1. They raised well over $2 million. They're still raising money. But they've also got something else coming up. When I was up at the International Convention in Calgary, I ran into John, who asked me to come see Peter at the booth. And Peter, excuse me, told me that he's organizing another trip called Round the Atlantic. Ed Galkin is 89 years old. So 3 weeks ago, last Saturday, I called Peter up and I said, could you put a 2-minute video together for me? And he said, well, I can. I just finished writing a Guinness Book of World Record application because Ed will be the oldest pilot to fly the Atlantic. So that's pretty amazing.
Hello, Rotary District 6000.
Hopefully you can hear this.
The very best to you, Norlan, as you begin your term as the new governor. Life is busy for all of us, but now, more than ever, promoting the Rotary 4-way tests and the efforts of all Rotarians around the world is critical in making the world a better and safer place for our children and communities. Hello, I'm Peter Tian. In 2023, I, along with my cousin and your PDG, John Ockenfels, became part of aviation history with our around-the-world 90-day flight in a single-engine airplane, a mission we called Around the World Flight to End Polio. With your support, we flew 30,000 miles and made 37 landings in 19 countries around the globe. Since then, we have given more than 150 speeches around the world about the flight and polio. With your support, we've raised not only awareness of Rotarians' efforts to eradicate polio, we raised, according to Rotary International, significantly over $2 million to support Rotary's efforts to end polio now. From our experiences, John and I learned we no longer have hope that we will see the end of polio. We believe. Today, I'm pleased to announce a new flight. We are calling it Circle the Atlantic, Flight to End Polio. This 37-day flight around the North Atlantic will make aviation history as we make 15 landings in 11 countries to raise money and awareness to eradicate polio once and for all. On this flight, Rotarian Ed Galkin will join our flight team. With John serving as flight technical advisor, Ed will be at the controls with me as he becomes, at the age of 89 years old, the oldest pilot in history to fly an airplane across the Atlantic. We hope that you, District 6000, will once again join us as we take flight to end polio forever. We ask for your support of Circle the Atlantic Flight to End Polio. Together as proud Rotarians, we'll bring the world closer to a new reality, a polio-free world once and for all. Please join us as we take off on Circle the Atlantic Flight to End Polio. Believe with us that together we will end polio now.
I'm going to suggest at our September board meeting, we've got 3 board members here, so I'm lobbying early, Schraderbacher, Dakin, Allison, that I would like the district to put some money up to support this project. And what I'd like to consider is doing a match, so we challenge Ames and we challenge the other clubs and match. So we raise some dollars and we put this behind us. Public image, to me, we have, as I say, we've lost over 300 and some members. And I think we need to try to look at a new way to attract members rather than just say, you got to grow, you got to get this many members, you got to raise this much money. And to me, public image is kind of the concept where that may work. If you think about an old Western of the stagecoach wheel, If you look at that wheel and the rim that goes around the outside, it's all encompassing. It covers the whole wheel. It covers everything. And if you look at the spokes, that's the programs. RYLA, Youth Exchange, Scholarship Program, Foundation Membership. Excuse me. The big hub is Rotary International because we're all national Rotary clubs, and that holds the spokes together, provides the programs and the support. But in the middle is the cog, and that's your club and the clubs, because Rotary starts at the grassroots, Rotary finishes at the grassroots, and that's the cog that drives. So I think if we look at image, and that's where Allison and Heidi and their team are working on, is to come up with ways so that every club has support from them of how to identify, how to lay information out. If you remember, those younger generations, if I go out and explain why I belong to Rotary, that's probably not going to attract that 30, 40-year-old. And so we need to think of other ways of making things happen to get the same result, which is getting membership into Rotary. And why do we want membership in Rotary? It's not the numbers, it's the resources. It's the diversity, it's the thoughts, it's the differences that people bring to the table when your board meets of projects and ways to improve your community. I gotta suspect everybody here in Ames is a Rotarian because they want to make the Ames community better. They want to improve the economic outlook. They want to improve the educational. They want to do benefits for quality of life. And that's why you're all Rotarians, because service above self. You believe in helping others. And I think that this is a way that we can make that happen. Cindy, there we go. Technology team, I won't spend much time. But we had a couple people that are trying to do all the technology, but they're also committee chairs, and it's just an overburden. I wanted to try to accomplish one summit last year at multiple locations. Couldn't pull it off because not enough people to help. Bill Bruce, who follows me, is heading this up. I've had, I think it's 7 step out of clubs we visited and say, yeah, I'd like to serve on there. So if you're interested in technology, you don't have to be an Einstein on it. But there'll be things there. We'll break up the workload. But if we can get about 10 people across the district, then if a club, your club's probably not applicable because you probably got people like the gentleman back there that knows what's going on. But some of the clubs are really looking for some help when they want to put something on for their community or when you're putting on a pets program or a conference. And then the other one, Carolyn Scharf was our administrator for 19 years, 20 past district governors. If you think of a corporation where you change CEOs every year, think about the direction, think about the focus, the sustainability of that. Pretty difficult when you got a different leader every year. She's the only person who was the glue that kept that common practice, that sustainability together. She retired June 30th. I just got an email from her. She's enjoying retirement, and we have a AG picnic coming up this Saturday. She's going to join us. Megan Van Coten is from Pella. She's a young, innovative, enthusiastic, organized. She's flexible. She's going to do a great job. And moving on, so we get Allison happy here. I want to challenge every club to plant at least 1 tree per member. It's not just the clean air, it's not just the cooler environment. There's 20 plus reasons if you look up where trees benefit communities. One of us is the psychological, the emotional advantage of trees versus concrete. So please, Jamie, I'll be checking back with you in the spring he's already said he's going to get it done. And the other one is bigger project, and that's mental wellness. Jamie mentioned I worked on some mental wellness programs for Iowa State. Why would you pick a banker? You got me, but we divided the state into 8 regions. The grant suggested we pass out 2,500 materials. There was 3 materials, different issues. we passed out 43,353. It wasn't unusual to go into a community, and these are two exact cases. The individual I was speaking with, it happened to be an equipment company, and he said, boy, your timing's great. There's a 16-year-old boy in our town that just committed suicide. Said, great athlete, popular kid, doing well. We don't know why. Another one was a 12-year-old girl, middle school, active in school, lots of friends, active in church, committed suicide. I don't know if this statistic is correct anymore, but during COVID, when I was doing this, 1 out of 17 high school youth seriously contemplated suicide. And several of the speakers said that the RYLA students gave mental wellness a standing ovation, the only one. They didn't think it was the content, they thought it was the subject. There's lots of assistance out there. You're in a tremendous community where you can pull it, but you've got the hospital system, you got the school system, you got the chamber, you got NAMI. If you want any direction, let me know, but put something on for your community or so. And that just reminds me, but Jamie, that concept of linking in with the Lions and Kiwanis, I think that's a great opportunity, and maybe you want to do it here. The tree planting, there's an Iowa State website listing on our website of trees you might want to select, how to plant, how to care for. And on mental wellness, if you have any questions, let me know. My conference is May 1st, May 2nd. I'm not so much trying to solicit here, but I want to put this word out. We have Stephanie Urchak, who's committed. She is the president from last fiscal year. She'll just be coming off traveling the world, and Steve drove her around, so he knows her tremendous, and he's going to be the host to Stephanie, him and Leslie. But in Chicago at Zone Institute in 23, Saturday afternoon we have off. Cindy and I signed up for a bus tour, and the bus was late, so we went into a Starbucks, got some coffee. Stephanie and Tom Gump, who happened to be her aide, came in. I mean, she's like talking to your aunt next door. She is just so down to earth, and so she'll be able to share with us all of these world travels that she's accomplished, Rotary has accomplished. Tom Gump will be our district zone international director. So Stephanie can talk to us about all the great things that she experienced. Tom can talk to us about what's happening and what's going to happen with Rotary. And, back before they had nets on rims and they had peach baskets, I played basketball. And it's an attitude. If you think you can do it, you can do it. And your club, I think, can do it, Jamie, right? And with that, I'd like to do open discussion, but I know you want some time, so I'm going to ask one person, David, to share with us why you joined Rotary. Thank you so much. It's been a pleasure being here.
Hello. Similar story of why I joined Rotary was initially it was the networking. Recently started in banking. Seemed like a good place to start. And then once you come attend a few meetings, you realize there's a lot of smart people in this room. And it's kind of turned into now I want to get to know as many people as I can here to learn from you all. You have great experience, and that's what's going to keep me coming back. So, yeah, thank you.
Thank you, David. Thank you, David. I'm going to ask Glenn Ripke to come up. I know we're about at our time, but Glenn's got a big announcement.
Well, good afternoon. A month ago, we had a visitor here from Tanzania. I can't come up with his name. Gilliard Makumbwa. And he was bringing us the updates of what's been happening with our water projects at Manamu and how that is progressing. And to be quite honest with you, that is really going gangbusters now. And they can see that they'll be hitting the water tower and water plant tank up real quick. Because what's next on their list. But what I wanted to talk to you about was that he mentioned at the very end was the next project. This is Project 5 that's underway now. Number 6 will be the continuation of this project to finish getting the water distribution into Manamu and into the neighboring village of Uday. Well, while he was here, Gillard talked to other clubs, and one club kept asking, well, why does it take so long to get these projects going? Why does it take so long? Well, one of the clubs he talked to was the Rotary Club of Webster City. And a couple of days after he talked to them, one of their members called up and said, I want to fund the next part. The whole part to finish the whole Manamu Vude project is about $480,000, and the cost has been taken care of. So that will start right after this present project is over. So this is not going to be a global grant. This will be a club to club. And that's probably one of the largest club to clubs in at least our district, if not the whole Rotary world. So anyway, the big news is the next one's already paid for by the Rotary Club of Webster City. They'll be taking over. Right now they're in the process. Everybody's in agreement as far as the party's concerned. They're drawing up the MOU right as we speak. So the day the one project's done, the next day the next one starts. So this is probably one of the biggest things that could have happened and made it really go well. So thank you.
That's definitely something to celebrate there. That's fantastic news. So appreciate that. Last thing, we have something on your table today. There is a Ada Hayden Golf Tours coming up again. Jim Patton kind of organizes it a little bit. If you want to volunteer, we need volunteers. And I will say from personal experience, it is well worth it. You learn so much about Ada Hayden that you may not have known. I certainly did, and in fact would actually probably volunteer again because it was so much fun. So anyway, thank you, Norlan and Cindy, for coming as far as you did. Thank you everyone else, all our visitors, the RYLA kids. Thank you so much for attending and sharing your story with us today. So with that, let's rise and of the things. Oh, and I'm going to have you sign a book. So everyone who spoke up here, I'm going to have you sign a book. So please come up. We're going to give that to a 2-year-old on their welfare check for raising readers. Good call. Thank you, Glenn. Thank you. So let's do the 4-way test of the things we think, say, or do. Is it the truth? Is it fair to all concerned? Will it build goodwill and better friendship? Will it be beneficial to all concerned?